Welcome again to Parenting Chats. We have in the house again today, Pastor. We thank you for everything that you said in our last episode. You're welcome again. We have Pastor DAPO AWOSIKA in the house again to enlighten us about some issues regarding our youths. Thank you, sir, for coming. Thank you.
Yes, thank you once again, Pastor Dapo. We are happy to have you. Now, in the last episode, you mentioned one or two things I would like to expatiate today, because the essence of this Parenting Chat channel is to face and address real issues that will transform the lives of our children and make them sources of joy to us and make them fulfill the purpose of God for their lives. You talked about peer pressure and you talked about love of money, okay? Of course, every human being likes money. And the reality is that we need money to do well in life. You gave the example of your nephew who legally made money. But friends who see him, they will just be envying him. They will just, wish to be like him, not knowing the sacrifices he made to get certifications, to apply for jobs here and there, how he burned the midnight candle and all that. They won't say that. They just want to be like him. What can parents do to ensure their children have the virtue called contentment? Because this is a major issue. Lack of contentment is what is driving a lot of our youth into Yahoo in our own setting here, and probably globally, drug, cartel, membership and things like that. They just want to, by all means, not minding whatever it will cost to have money. So what can parents do? Like you mentioned the other time, all these things are to be paid attention to from when the children are little, so that it will be their lifestyle. How do we inculcate this contentment virtue into children?
Thank you very much for having me once again. Contentment is a value that is instilled in a child from childhood. I remember even from primary school, there were children who were stealing other people's pencils. From secondary schools, there were those who were removing other people's clothes from the line. And by the time they enter university is another thing. But a child that has been taught to be content from childhood grows up being content. Undoubtedly, there are situations whereby you could teach your child contentment, and if he mixes with the wrong crowd, then his value system shifts. And so we teach the children contentment. We teach them godliness, because a child can be a moral agent without being godly. A child can actually be a moral agent without being godly.
Yeah, that's right.
But when a child is a moral agent without being godly, then there is a probability that if he finds himself in the wrong environment, he may throw away the morals. But a child that is godly, move him from any environment to any environment.
It's constant.
He's still
The
constant.
God factor.
Like I usually say, no matter where you find yourself, civilizations may differ, values never change. A child there are certain values that we hold so dear here. Go to America, right-thinking people hold the same value here. Go to the United Kingdom, the same value are upheld there. And so, if you instill these values in them, and like I always say, you are the best example that your child will follow. I remember when I entered when I was in secondary school, my mom had a fantastic job. I traveled overseas several times with her. She was going for one conference or the other. She was a senior government civil servant. So all those women conferences and things, she would always carry me along as her handbag. And by the time I entered university, she didn't have money for a day. And so whenever I told her, all my classmates, they are wearing this, why can't you provide it? And she would go and bring some of the pictures I took as a kid. She said, look, from age 4, I was buying clocks for you. From this, I was buying this for you. From that, I was buying this. So even if I don't have money now, I know I have done my best when I have. And so if you want it, face your studies. Be hard on yourself. Discipline yourself so that you can buy these things for yourself and you don't need me. And so that became something that motivated me. And so of course, as a youth, I could spend so much money trying to buy a designer jeans. I wanted to buy polo shirts and I saved money and I bought it. And I remember once that my mom burnt all my records. Because she was giving me for the money, but I enjoyed being a DJ. And so I had records, I had cassette deck, I had turntables. And so when I didn't do well in school, I just got home and she burnt everything. I felt I was going to die, but I didn't die. Now, why am I sharing this with us? I was ready to starve myself in school so that I could
save towards
being a teacher. I didn't steal anybody's money. These were values of contentment. But another person would have said, shouldn't contentment have made me buy food instead of? But it taught me how to start working things out myself from a young age. Now, as I grew up, I suddenly also discovered now I like designers. But I don't have the money for it. Not because I don't earn enough money to buy it, but I suddenly realized there are more important things.
Yeah.
And so my son also calls me and says, Dad, I want to buy X phone. And I said, even me, your father, I'm not using that phone. And he replies, Dad, I've saved my money. I'm just asking you, can I go ahead and buy? And I said, since you saved your money, go ahead and buy. And so he buys a phone of 1,000 euro. He was doing part-time in Europe, doing almost like 2-3 jobs at a time. And so from a young age, he had learned contentment. And he knew that for anything extra that he needs to work for it. Now, these are things that come out of values. You teach them those values from an early age and they live it.
Thank you very much. Before she comes on, I think I love that phrase, they must know that they need to work for it. Work for it. You don't want to benefit from what you didn't work for. It's not right. Doing fraud, depriving people of their own hard-earned things because you want to live large. So that contentment and knowledge of working for what you need is very important. Thank you very much.
And if I may add, I just remembered an incident. There's this young man that is also very close to me. I suddenly discovered that he was, I'm sorry to any listener that profits from Bet Niger, I have nothing against you. But I suddenly came across my young son, like I said, who I discovered was using his allowance to play bets. And so I called him, I sat him down. I called the uncles and aunties that used to send money to me. I said, don't send money to me. And they said, why? I said, I'm trying to teach him something. I didn't tell them what it was. I'm trying to teach him something. They said, okay. So when they didn't give him, he came to meet me and he said, Pete, do you know that this person said, I said, I'm the one who said they shouldn't give you. So he looked at me, why did you say such a thing? I said, you didn't understand. Everybody who sends you money sacrifices something to send you that money. Everybody who sends you, no matter how small, that money they send you, they could have used it to do something for themselves or for their own children.
Yeah.
I said, so you have no right to gamble away other people's money. I said, when you start working for your own, if you want to gamble everything away, that will be your own problem. I said, but I will plead with you, get rid of the gambling habit. Or else, when you get older, you are gambling out 20,000, 5,000, 15,000 now. I said, you will gamble your car,
and your
you
house.
will gamble your house. Because these are cases I've dealt with young couples where the wife had to move out of the house because the man had gambled away everything in the house. And so it brings us back to the same thing. The Bible's contentment from an early age. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. In this part of the world that we are in, there's a lot of pressure on our youths for settling down, getting married, especially for young ladies that are of marriageable age. There's a lot of pressure from parents, from family. When are you going to settle down? When are you going to bring a man or a woman into the family? What advice do you give parents, and how can the youths, how do they survive this pressure from family and parents?
Okay, let me start by saying it has never been how early you get married. It has always been how well. And there is no age that is too old or too young for how well. Marriage is not, I always laugh because marriage is such an interesting phenomenon that nothing prepares you for marriage. Attend the best of intending couples classes. It still doesn't prepare for it. It just lays a foundation, a framework with which you can work. I think it's unfair for any parents to put pressure on the child to get married if the circumstances are not right. Two incidents that I faced in the last 1 year. The first one was a girl who was obviously in love with another person, but because the guy the parents know, they'd been dating for 6 years. And the parents said, don't bring anybody if it is not this boy. And so they put a lot of pressure. I met both the bride to be, the groom to be, and I said, look, the bride opened up. I don't want to marry him. I'm in love with someone. And I told the young man, I said, did you just hear what he said? She said, he said, yes, but I love her. She will marry me. I called the parents. Of course, they pretty much tell me, she's okay, I shouldn't worry about that. I told the person who said they should come and see me, the brother to the mother, he said he has done his best. That he thought I would be able to talk to the two of them and let that boy see this. Anyway, they go ahead and we get married, and within 2 weeks, they sent me pictures, clips of how much they had bruised each other, blood all over their body. And I said, I knew this would happen. Well, we're still praying for them. I haven't heard from them for a while. There's the second case of a woman who, she had a terminal illness and wanted her daughter to get married before she died. And so she was ready to take almost anybody. And of course, from the moment the girl brought the young man to my house, I knew this was an error. I as a pastor, you sense some of these things. Then by talking to them, you also sense some of it. And I told the girl, called the girl after. I said, you don't know this boy. I can see it. He said, no, but mom wants me to get married. She wants to see me married before she dies. If anything, if she will die. I said, that's not a good idea. I called the mom. The mom said, I shouldn't answer her. it is the demons in her father's house that are still fighting her. But he's a good boy. Anyway, the marriage barely lasted a year. Unfortunately, and she's back to being alone. And so it is wrong for everybody. We should teach them the values of a good marriage, of a good man, of a man who fears God. We should teach them to understand that it's supposed to be a lifelong commitment. And so the things they ought to look for, we ought to tell them. And we must never, ever put them under pressure. The few things I've heard, which is the most ridiculous, is parents saying, I have helped my friend, this one, I helped her do wedding. I did wedding, attended wedding. When will they also attend my own daughter's wedding? Priorities totally misplaced. And I pray that God will teach our parents not to put that pressure and to understand that it is not how soon. It will always be how well.
Thank you so very much. Parents, this is a burden to us as lovers of youth and children. A lot of our daughters are falling into wrong hands because of the pressure that they were being put through by the family. You know, I've heard about ladies who don't even want to attend weddings anymore because they will meet relationships, will say, when is your own coming up? You know, that pressure, they don't need it. They need our encouragement, they need our prayers. A lot of ladies, just because of this pressure, they just go with any man and they are suffering domestic violence. A lot of them discover some weird things about the man they have married. Oh my God, several cases of that they will discover the guy is gay and they are in it already. They don't need pressure. They only need your love and your support. And I do hope that parents will change their ways. And aunties, uncles, relations generally, instead of seeing them and saying, so what are you waiting for? When is your own? You say, we are praying for you. You will not take the wrong step. You will not go the wrong way. That's what they need from us. Pastor DAPO, thank you always. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode. Please remember, subscribe, share, comment. Thank you. See you.